Wow, isn't it lovely? This is the Maserati MC20 and we're about to drive it on the roads. Oh, it's quick. It's so quick. It gets down the road so fast. Wow. This is the mid-engined rear-wheel drive 200,000-pound supercar from Maserati. A real amazing piece of engineering because it's got carbon fiber through the chassis, twin turbocharged V6 engine. It has about 620 horsepower and it looks spectacular, especially in this blue color. This car weighs about 1.5 tons and it will crack the 0 to 60 mile an hour sprint in under 3 seconds. It's rapid. So it feels razor sharp. It's got an 8-speed automatic gearbox. The throttle response, even though it's got turbochargers, is really, really good. Right across the rev range as well. And it rides lovely. You've got, I mean, Italians, especially Alfa Romeo and Ferrari and Maserati, they're excellent at being able to deal with bumpy roads because the roads where they develop their cars are pretty bumpy, just like ours in the UK. And so it means this thing rides really nicely. You could feel, I mean, I've only been in the car for 5 minutes and I can feel straight away this seat is nice and supportive. All right, it's not armchair-like, but it's supportive where it matters. And it hugs you a little bit. And that means I feel like I could do hundreds of miles in this car, no problems whatsoever. But obviously what matters, and the reason why I'm in it is because I want to see, is it fun and exciting? It certainly feels that way, so let's find out. Woo! I mean, that was 60 easy in no time and I had nothing but wheel spin. This thing is stupendously fast. The engine's nice as well. It's got a gravelly 6-cylinder tone. It's not silky like other 6-cylinders. Much more gravelly, a bit gruff, and you get the whooshes and the wheezes from the turbocharger system. This complex of corners here now, I've got it in the stiffer damping mode. I can soften the damping off separate to the sport mode of the engine, and yet it feels totally fine, even on this bumpy road actually. Really, really good. The steering is lovely. It's light. It doesn't feel massively communicative at lower speed, but then I do feel as I load it up, I get some messages through the rim, so it's actually quite nice. Oh, it feels so up on its tippy toes. Wow. It feels so light. I mean, this is 1.5 tons, but it feels so lively. This is Alpine A110 levels of tippy toe feeling on these corners. Let me just click it back into sport mode, but with the softer damping, because I just want to see how much the damping is impacting the balance, because it's a bit wet today, so I just want to soften it off a bit, and then I think I can carry a bit more speed through. It'll make the chassis a little bit more forgiving. Let's see what it feels like. Let's carry some speed in. Oh, that's nice. Yeah. Oh, corners so flat and so lovely, but just irons out all the bumps. I can see them, but I can't feel them. I can hear them as well, but I just can't feel them. Oh, and the balance is really nice. Get the car turned in, tiny bit of push, a little bit. I mean, some of that's down to the fact it's wet, and we are running winter tires on this car. But then you just get this, oh, it's lovely, this sense of rotation with the smallest input of throttle. It's a really delicate sensation. The steering is quick and it's light, just like a Ferrari, but it doesn't feel fidgety or difficult to point it straight down the road, even one as bumpy as this. You might have seen I drove a Caterham 420R on our Fast Laps video recently, and obviously that isn't power assisted. This is the total opposite. It's so light. The Caterham's light because it's a light car, but this is, I'm threading through bends. I'm carrying speed and it's just fingertip accurate. It's lovely. Oh, what a brilliant chassis, and what an excellent engine as well. Wow. And other things to speak about, I mean, if I click this thing back into its GT mode, put it back into auto, let it just trundle along, it's nice and quiet, there's enough torque, enough elasticity from that V6 motor with that pair of turbochargers, so it, you know, we're down at 1500 revs now, put my foot down, smooth. But there's definitely a built-in boost actually, a very noticeable built-in boost there actually. So from under 2000 revs, there's good tractability, but it kicks in and really fires you forward over 2000. The gearbox is nice and quick as well. These shift paddles are lovely, Alfa Romeo levels of lovely. They're not attached to the steering wheel, but they're carbon fiber in this car and they sound very nice. And then, of course, the fact that I'm sat in a car low with the interior wrapped around me. I don't like the fact that the heating controls and things are all in the infotainment system, but it's fine, it looks good, it looks nice. And I love, more than anything, this windscreen, this dome-shaped windscreen, which reminds me firstly of McLaren's, but even more than that, of prototype racing cars. I mean, when I peer down the nose of the car and I see that central wiper just flashing across, yeah, it feels special. 200k special? Yeah, I would say so. The interior maybe doesn't have the drama of some 200k supercars, certainly not ones when you had actual buttons in the interior. Having screens does take a bit of that away, it makes it feel a bit more clinical. But it's still a very nice interior, it's lovely. The mix of leather and Alcantara is lovely. The fact that I can see the door mirrors, which look like they've been peeled straight off of a 458 Ferrari. They're really slim and aerodynamic, and then the fact I can see the arches ahead of me and the intakes at the rear, it just feels exotic, it feels special. And I'm driving it in freezing cold, wet conditions, and it rides and drives nicely. If I had 200k, I'd be very tempted. I would be very tempted. Wow, yeah, it was spectacular. I mean, it's so razor sharp. It's really the steering that got me in this car. I thought it was going to be the engine, but the engine was lovely, works fantastically well, but it's the steering and the ride that just made me go, wow. And the fact that it can deal with our bumpy British roads so excellently in this weather, spectacular car. I love it. What do you think? Let us know in the comments below. And of course, if you enjoyed the video, do click the thumbs up button. And hopefully, maybe just maybe, we'll get one of these down to Rockingham very soon. So I think you should get subscribing as well. See ya.